Under 20 minutes ago from the recording of this video, the 1 minute time frame on Bitcoin crossed with the US fiat currency was looking like this. Just chopping around, I guess you could say. Any indicator you can tell? I can only see one. And that would be the volume that occurred. Maybe something was going to spike when we compare the volume. What was this big volume here? It surpassed this. That was toppy volume. That was significant volume. Okay. And it even kind of matches this volume from this decent low in here. Enter higher volume, higher prices. Price action leaves the 18 average of lows on Bitcoin at 83.72. Well, it gets there at 943. It leaves the 18 average at 947. Then we add well over $300 later, about 4-ish%. 86.99. We'll round it to 87. It's perfectly there now. And for a decent amount of time. And this is a Bitstamp exchange. They're relatively all different. 15-minute time frame. If you're a short-term trader talking about this or playing the strategy that I talk about, that would have meant buying in here somewhere. It would have meant buying in here somewhere. This now you can definitely start selling at least this one here now. If not even you were selling it here. However, within these markets, that's just what they do. There's going to be big moves for both directions. It's going to continue to remain this way. It's still, of course, in this neutral direction. So it can chop up and down big time from where we stand at this point. Where I got support well below 8,000. Many, well over 100 points under that. And support well over 10,000. $300 or $400 over such. So it still has 1,300 to get to 10,000. On the 400-minute time frame, obvious uptrend at the earlier stages of this as it left the 18 average on the 400-minute April the 12th in the morning. That was a little over a month ago. So the rally, which found support very well at the 18 once, it found it for an extended period with a small dip below, but only for that one small failed breakout leg higher. So since that decline, 18 average resists, and then it breaks down below. Since that point, this level of previous support was not found as such on the way lower. And it had a decent leg lower from that point. Price action a few periods ago comes up to this level, meeting up with the 18 average of highs for the first time since the fall. It immediately rejects it. It even consolidates that. That's a very bearish pattern. What do I know about very bearish patterns that do the opposite type thing? You gotta really pay interest to this now. Yes, I think we're in a big choppy situation from the range of about 7,700 to 10,003. And that just means it can just fluctuate in both directions and it can just be choppy until it makes its decisionary move. But when it makes a move for such, if it's like, okay, time to make it now, and I'm not saying it's going to do such, that's when you could get, like, on this time frame, a green candle that might go all the way up to here. There's still 5 hours and 49 minutes left in this period. It could be this one as an example. And then it's like, oh crap, this thing just rallied like 1600 from 84. And that's like 20%. Volatility it's had, and it has surpassed in even recent times of the past. And when I say recent, since 2017. So therefore, that's when it's ready to do such. Let's remove the drawings and take a look at this on another time frame. I'll insert that key Fibonacci. So that's the next intended target. We look at this on the daily. That would be an interesting move if it comes up, because the 18 average of highs is now in at 92.90. That if you were to ever see a situation, you hardly ever see this, and I'm not expecting this, and it's a very low probability for this to happen. But if you were to have a period like today that were to go up to, say, above the 95, which would be well above the 18 average of highs, that would be a pattern that would be stating, okay, we've got this long downtrend that we've occurred. It rallied up. Is this that final shakeout, washout, getting rid of the weak before the thing gets going? Because in a case of that type of situation, I would be seeing that when you have the major rally as we have seen to this point, and this correction, which was so scary for so many people, is really just barely going down when you look at it from its last long-term break lows. So therefore, any time when you have a higher low like that, you resist the 18, you come back to where you came from, and you don't resist it here where it was supposed to. You now have to be very, very cautious and leery on the bearish side, because they always say you don't want to short like a major uptrend. It's like getting in front of like a full truck or a train or whatever. It's just reckless. And that is why you'd want to be cautious, because this thing can obviously go whenever any kind of correction happens to be done. So instead of resisting here, it spends about 6 or 7 periods staying above what had become a newly rising 18. And there's where a blimp down to this low. 9,131-ish is the 18 average of highs. It's now flat. If there ever was a situation where price action continued to go higher from here with a green candle, that setup is extremely magnificent, which is why I've been talking a lot. It's really got to break out above that resistance. But it also states that the price correction that has happened in this most recent time frame is that of a small one, a standard one. And as far as this rally is concerned, we've had a big rally today, and yet this thing, let me just remove the drawing tools again, because, yeah, okay, never mind. I thought that was a big tick line. I'm thinking, how did the price get so high there? But that makes sense. So if it were to have that continuation higher, that would just be fantastic, and that's the setup you're looking for. Continuing further. Because it's got to get above it. The result of it not doing so will mean that this newly rising 18 would flatten. And when I talk about, oh, I need to see weakness at a certain level, then that's where the weakness is around here now. Ideally, what you want to see now with this as a short-term mark is for the price to at least come up or near the 18 average of highs, which is roughly at around 9,000. So short-term, we've seen these magnificent gains. Let's go back to the 1 minute again. And I'm okay, I gotta. There we go. So it's still in the correctionary point within its big move. So it's early and such. It's going to have a lot of interesting. It can have a lot of interesting volatility. At any point, you're going to get decent sized down moves. It could happen now. It's leaving the 18 average. It may not. And if you don't get the may not, maybe you get up to 89.50, and then you get a decent red down short term. But yeah, we're still in that ultimate range. Now, as far as altcoins are concerned, I'm just going to take a quick look, gander. ZEC is pumping huge, up 22%. I'm going to probably have to trade that baby. Look at this. Holy crap. Wow. That is interesting. Daily term time frame. When these markets go, they go. Hang on a second. I got to make a trade. Okay, I just sold me some. Not much, but that's how I play this game. When they have these types of moves, I got to sell these upticks. So for me as a trader, I got to do the 1 minute time frame on this baby. I ended up selling. I sold this earlier today. What time was it? It would have been on the early part of this break somewhere. So I'm glad I kind of missed this because I would have easily sold here. So I got my sale here. So therefore, where's my next transaction? It's either going to be a buy or a sale. It won't be any other choice. Price action comes down here, I'll buy it back. Price action can get well into the fours. I'll sell some more. Well into the four means like 44, 45. Just another quick one. Crown coin earlier today. We'll still working on it. 15-minute time frame. Big move higher. Red coin's having a decent day. 15-minute time frame. So is Dash, and it's gonna probably force me to make another trade. No, probably not quite yet. Although that is a decent move. And I did make a small sell order in there because it's just a decent leg higher. I gotta do it. Same thing as ZEC as far as the next trade. If this thing falters back to the 18 average of lows, I'd be looking for a buyback. If this thing can make a move up to Fibonacci, I'd be looking for my next sell at about 559. But as far as this market is concerned, it's been choppy, huge time, big time. And the buy low, sell high strategy, take a photograph, because this is the perfect kind of chart to trade the strategy where if it goes up, you sell. If it goes down, you buy, and you keep on doing it. And after you make a trade, you don't care what the market does. Rather, you care to be there for if it goes up enough, you get a sell order in. If it goes down enough, you get a buy order in. Because if you just think about all the times where on the way down you buy, you sell when it goes higher, ever since, for the last year and a half, it has been fantastic, to say the least. The overall dynamic is you go down to the lows, up to fib, retrace what looks like a 61.8 down, and then in a successful higher low on the situation of breaking this resistance and getting up there. It's not unlikely for it not to. Well, then you'll be talking about a play making it to the 760 area, and then we'll be looking at, oh, it could get above that. It's been very choppy, though, and very profitable to play the swings. Nice sideways action, because when looking at this on a 3-day time frame, going back from its infancy, we can see its sideways range here. Nice break, another one. Of course, on the eventual break above, this thing can have a decent game. Maybe go to maybe 0.25 or some other decent number above. Meanwhile, Litecoin on the 15-minute time frame, I guess you could say trying to establish a move, but an interesting setup is why I want to go over this. You see your normal moving action all the way from the start of this to just recent. Everything's normal. Pretty much everything I see here, but things have changed. You make this breakout, and then you come back down. That's normal. But see this move here that breaks below this level of support. This is what I deem, or I look at as the classic failed move before a big move. The volume's pretty good right now. Really good, actually, since the that play. Is there any noticeable movement on the one? Well, it's made that move up and go sideways. But going back to that pattern, you make that low, and then you've already broken above this resistance level. That's telling me it's probably going to be a nice up move happening soon. 3-hour time frame, anything to support such? Well, the down move comes in. Start to go up a bit, chop, still holding. We realize that getting out above here, it could be big, and that's not too far away. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's going to be back in the 170 range relatively soon. Anyway, obviously everything within your own risk and reward. Bye-bye.